Mic check, 1, 2, and 3. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to be listening in to the presser. Shout out to the Cowboys for having this presser, this press conference, basically, to give us some details of information. I hope that this is not another news announcement that is just cryptocurrency, right? Or that it's something out of, okay, we just scraping for some news to hear. But we want to know for sure, without a shout of a doubt, we want to know about the draft plans, the philosophy heading into the 2022 season and everything else and beyond. But while you guys are waiting for me to show you guys myself, be sure on your way in to hit the like. Sharing is caring, baby. Thank you guys for keeping the nation alive all through the off season. It's long and it's a one man's race, and this is not a sprint, it's a marathon and beyond, baby. Let's go. Come on. They say, really, ain't no party like a cowboy party. But what about a Jerry Wayne and things party?
I want me some your help.
It's too early for that, Jerry. Come on. Sharing is caring. BPA, I see you. If you BPA, put it in the chat. BPA all day. I'm almost finished building the plane while it's in the air. Appreciate you. One love to the nation. Shout out to all of the HBOs. The SGs. That's the share gang, by the way. Come on, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. What's up? What's up? What's up, Cowboy Nation? We're back at it again. We are back at it again. The off season is such a long one, right? Shout out to Sharita. Shout out to you, Natasha. Thank you for jumping in. Burnett, thank you. BPA, the best player available. That is what we're looking for. We're looking for this team to elevate from what they were at 12-5 last year to higher. That's what we're looking for. We want to get higher than what we were last year. And it all starts during the off season. Now, the good old John Stephen Jones, that's his whole government name, he said that you don't win the Super Bowl in the off season. And when he said that, we all was like,
you must be out of your goddamn mind.
Because that is when you win. That is when the communication, that is when the understanding and the information of being able to fly out to the ball or knowing where you're going to be at all happens during the off season. Most people think that they graduate from school. Most people think that they are able to be successful in practice. Well, in a game. But no, it all happens when no one is watching. You graduate from school is when you do your work when no one else is watching. You do your work after school when you're studying. See, that is the hardest part ever. That is the discipline lane when you're studying, when you are working on your craft, when you are practicing your jump shot, or when you're running through your drills, or when you're working on your release, your technique. That is when you win. And anything and everything that you do in life, it happens when the cameras are not on. I'm telling you guys, it happens when no one is watching. It is. But when it's time to shine, when the lights are on, the things that you used to do and practice. Here we go. 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 Let me hush now. All right, let me see if I can turn this audio up. Appreciate everybody. Get it all together.
Impact that
come on, baby.
In all of our lives, our ability to meet and see each other face to face.
Yep.
This feels like a homecoming of sorts. But I've got Mike here from his perspective. He's been in all the meetings. Where he's been relative to the combine. And of course, Stephen has been in
Oh, yeah, I can hear a little bit.
Right side on Luka. There's 4 minutes and change left. Did you think by
excited about being with you guys and working through the next few days and building our adding to the Dallas Cowboys team. So, any questions? Fire away.
Fire away.
Jerry and Mike, before we focus on the draft.
Here we go right here, Cowboy Nation.
Getting ready for Thursday and excited about it and excited about being with you guys and working.
Let me know if you can hear the audio.
Next few days and
give me a thumbs up if you can hear the audio.
Adding to the Dallas Cowboys team. So, any questions? Fire away.
Just Jerry and Mike, before we focus on the draft, since we haven't had a chance to ask you about this, can you comment on Kelvin Joseph and his involvement in this murder case, and any action you may or may not take with Kelvin will be strictly dependent on anything that any charges that are filed against him, or would you consider doing something aside from any charges that may come?
I get all the information directly. I hear directly from our counsel, our Cowboy counsel, would hear directly from anything from the league. It's, as you know, it's under investigation. I don't know any more than what I've seen you write or seen written. And it's certainly pending. But I have no information in any way that affects his status during this time of the year. We're in our early season workout time, and he's very active and involved in getting ready for the coming season. And anything that would alter that are in the hands of any decision making that would regard the authorities or the league, of which I've gotten no information on that, period. Just nothing that I can comment on, and I certainly don't have any opinion.
Just like I said earlier, y'all don't be listening to me.
Interaction with Kelvin regarding the situation? What were your discussions with him like?
My conversations with Kelvin was more about the focus of what we're doing here in the off season, and he's been here throughout the month of March and has been a full participant here the first couple of weeks.
Does that situation affect draft preparation and what you may or may not have thought about?
No, it shouldn't affect nothing. No, just like I said earlier. How many plays did Kelvin Joseph play last year? How many times he made an impact on a play last year?
Because I said so.
Because he said so. There you go, Jerry.
Did you
Get
ask
him
me?
right.
How these guys? Okay.
Get him right, Jerry.
Get your damn act together.
Mike, just last thing on that, would you consider any sort of action outside of what the authorities would do just based on the situation at all, or is it?
I think, just as Jerry's already stated, we're just watching the process, and that's all we really have to comment on right now.
Get him, Jerry.
Jerry, you talked last week about the appetite for possibly trading up. Were you talking about that specifically?
Now we're talking some trade stuff. Yeah.
Generally.
Yeah.
And that is purely a product. If the phone's not ringing, that's me calling. And so the bottom line is, you don't know what might be coming. It is always the case that it's got to be coming towards you, as opposed to you going to get it. To put it in its right context, when I said we might consider trading up.
There we go.
It would be madness to not consider anything as we mentally prepare for the draft. And tradings can be a big part of things. We've had busy times in drafts and slower times in drafts. But I think the question was that I answered at the time, which I'm not being defensive at all, is would you consider it? Specifically with that, it's more of an answer. I would not consider anything as we're sitting here getting ready for the draft.
Stephen, when you look at your guys' board, what could potentially be there at 24, just how do you feel about the options that could potentially be there?
Oh, I think we're going to have some great opportunities.
Good stuff.
I think, it's impossible to project, but I will say this about the draft. I think it's very middle of the draft heavy, that third through the fifth round. first and second a little more thin than we're used to. But I still think we're going to have a great opportunity to really improve our football team. Whether it's at the 24th pick, if we decide to make a move to go up, then, there's some players that, would fit that category that you might be intrigued by. And, then there's always the option that if 4 or 5 guys are sitting there that you really think a lot of, then it's not impossible. We might move down a little bit. But in general, I think we're going to have a great opportunity to improve our football team in a big way throughout the draft. As you know, we have 9 picks.
Right.
And
right.
I just think it's a great opportunity for us to get better.
You prepare for a lot more scenarios when you're sitting at 24 versus, say, where you are last year, just because
you have to. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just you got all these teams in front of you, and you're not sure what they're going to do and how they have these players evaluated. I think, as you've seen, I think in people reporting, and they have obviously. I'm sure great people they talk to in all the other organizations. It's a mixed bag in terms of who might do what and who might take what. So you really do have to go through a lot of options. We've already started that extensively with Jerry and Mike, Will, and myself. And I think you do have to get prepared like that. And then certainly you have to see what you're going to be giving up. And that takes you really deep when you go, 24 picks into the second round, in terms of what you might be giving up to move that pick up. So there is a lot of work left to be done. But, at the end of the day, I think the players are there that can really improve our team.
Stephen, with so many teams in the league right now, it seems to kind of change their approach to go more all in.
I turned the volume up so high, I can't even hear. Let me know if the volume is okay, though.
Their early draft picks. Does that change your philosophy, your guys' philosophy, and how you build your team at all when so many other teams seem to be kind of shifting to a more aggressive all-in approach right now?
I think everybody's situation's different. And we have to look at our situation in terms of our players and where we have our resources committed. I think there's always going to be opportunities out there that you have a chance maybe to stretch and really improve your team if you think it's the right piece. At the same time, as you know, we believe strongly that you build through the draft. It's your foundation. But then when you have an opportunity, that sticks out and you can improve your team, then you certainly look at it. But, everybody's going to continue to look at different ways to go about it. Obviously, the Rams winning the Super Bowl had a different approach in terms of how, they valued their picks versus the players they brought in there. And, I don't think it's, one right way to do this. I think there's a lot of ways to go about it. And certainly we'll continue to massage things internally, and we'll make decisions. One of the things I think is unique about our organization, having Jerry as the owner and the general manager, that we can make quick decisions and can make hard decisions quickly. And so I think that gives us an advantage in terms of if we decide to do something, that's on the real aggressive side, then we can do it.
Could each of you address how you see the positional strengths of this draft aligning with your perceived needs?
Well, I think like anything, you trust the process. We're going through the process of ranking the board horizontally and vertically, and from that, you have our view of our needs may be different than yours, but I think at the end of the day, I know from my perspective, the quality and the depth of the class is important to stack it against these first 2 classes. So,
right.
This is an opportunity for us to obviously improve with these new guys coming in here, but to get in here and talk about specific positions. I mean, obviously, if Jerry wants to get into that, that's fine. I just think the quality of the class and how they fit into our locker room is really the overall view from my perspective.
Jerry, I know you're being a little tongue-in-cheek there when you said the phones aren't ringing, but you're calling. Have you been making any calls this week?
You hadn't heard the same country song I've had. Honey, when that phone's not ringing, that's me calling. It's a song. All right. But seriously, we always chum. always. And you do that. I do it away from the draft. You're always talking about possibilities or things. There's nothing dangerous about thinking crazy things. What's dangerous is obviously when you get out and making a decision. So without getting philosophical, we should think out of the box.
Yep.
We should be contrarians. That doesn't mean that has to be that on that particular decision, but it's a part of thinking unconventionally. And so you got to see which way the thing is going. We had no idea Michael Parsons would be there last year when we started that draft. We all had our eye on corners. And the bad thing would have been to have not been flexible and to have not been willing to do something that you really hadn't gone to bed the night before thinking you'd hoped it would go that way. So, again, I think flexibility, we have it here. The way to be ready for it is to literally be prepared. And if you had been a fly on the wall this morning listening to our conversations, you would have heard some pretty interesting scenarios about what if this happened.
Right.
And it's a product of having everybody on the same page regarding our weaknesses and our strengths on our team. Or philosophically, if we had a wish, how we would like to go defensively and what that player might do for us to complement what a Parsons or a Lawrence might do. So again, I know that this always comes down to pretty subjective type explanation, but it is subjective, and the very players themselves are subjective. And we have to bet and project a lot of things that don't necessarily fall right as they get on beyond here into their careers. So just understanding that only God knows really most of the time about some of the critical parts of the decision, I think, is important. You can milquetoast things to death, and you can be right down the middle. If you're perfect, the NFL is designed to win half your games and lose half your games. It's a 500 league. And so you have to get out of bounds, or you have to get close to the boundaries from time to time to sway that positively at all, in my view. So we will, as you well know if you think about it, we will be unconventional if we think it will help our team. We don't go in there just the idea of going the other way at all. So I would emphasize the best way to prepare for that is to keep communicating. We have constant communicating. I have and we have communicated since the day we walked through the door with the Dallas Cowboys.
No doubt.
And I've never not included the coach. Mike came from an organization, and he can speak for himself, that didn't include the coach as much. And
hey, man, don't be throwing no haymakers at the Green Bay.
And they had a lot of success in that manner. We do. We want that process in there.
Clean it up.
And so if you were sitting in that room, you would hear some of the key people, the scouts, and you would think they were going to make the pick. And we encourage that. And we argue with that. And we talk about that. And that's important not only to hear it, but that's important to get that input. They might have some information that you should consider. So our process is an inclusive one. We've said it. There's a lot of talk in this business about who makes the call,
right.
Who actually makes the call. Okay. Taco was Stephen's call.
Oh!
Parson is my call.
Yeah!
That's not that funny to me.
Come on, it's not that funny to us either. I've been blaming Rob Marinelli.
How many, I don't know if you've been asking, excuse me if you haven't, how many first-round picks are in this draft?
Do we have
Jerry Jones is better.
We're going to be somewhere between, 14 and 16, somewhere in there.
Is that a normal number?
So it's lower than normal.
Stephen, this is kind of related to that. Is it always best available over need, or does that dynamic change a
Let
little bit
Stephen
later
go.
in the first round versus like when you were at 17?
Oh my God.
Or 10 last year?
I think if the grades are in there very similar, then you pick what your need is. I think if there's a big disparity, you don't go jump a half a round down to scratch an itch, if you will. I
BPA.
think if they're in there close and the grades are really close, then, a couple points here or there, then, I think you certainly would take a look at, your need over over the best grade, just pure best grade.
That's what happened with Taco.
With only 14 to 16 first-round picks, does that, on your board, at 24, does that open itself up to more of a move down than a move up, or how do you look at that?
I think it just depends. Not everybody's going to have the same number, the same guys in their picks, and they may have more, they may have less first-round picks. That's the art of competition right here, and everybody's trying to put their board up the way they see it. We put our board up the way we see it, and that might have you looking at moving up, even more so than moving down. If one of your guys you have in the first round are sitting there and you think, hey, that may be worth it to go get one. The flip side of that, if they're gone and you're looking at 4 or 5 guys you value similarly at 24 there, then you might, you might think about moving down. Or if there's just one left and you're up and it happened to go your way, then you pick away.
If you're saying that you had fewer first round grades, but Mike and Stephen, didn't both of you say that overall you have more players graded with draft grades than you normally do?
Absolutely. I think, with the super seniors, where they got a redshirt year and a COVID year, and we're looking at some players that have been in college and playing football for 6 years. And so you do see that. I will say I do think the draft's more heavily weighted toward the middle of the draft than it is, toward the top. But I do think there's more players that have draftable grades than we've ever had.
When you have that many players with draftable grades, how does that change the approach to the undrafted signing period on Saturday night? And then, especially keeping in mind that you guys don't have a 7th round pick, what would that process be like?
I think it remains to be seen. Who's left and where we have them. And, sometimes we have no one left on our board. That's happened rarely, but, you have just a couple. And then sometimes you've had a lot more. We'll just have to see how this pans out and, how the rest of the league thinks of the players that we have on our board versus what's been taken through the draft.
Mike, why do you think it's important to be involved in the draft process, and what are the ways that your draft process involvement has been different this year than previously in your career?
I would say, number one, I think anytime the personnel and coaching can be together, whether it's training camp and having them part of your meetings, because we all want the same thing. It's about getting the best players possible, and fit is a big part of a lot of our conversations. We talked a lot today about fit with the coordinators in there. So I think it's like anything. It makes us stronger as a group. The decision-making process is tighter. This is year 3, so year 1 we were virtual. Last year was more realistic, and this is really the first full year that we've had as a staff. Our scouts are in house, and so this has clearly been the best process of my time here, because the interaction, whether it's on the road, getting out and seeing these players at their pro days, and also interacting with your scouts on the road. So just so much more collaboration, interaction, and I think with that, it definitely improves your decision-making process.
Stephen, when you look at what you guys have done and not done in free agency in the offensive line, do you look at that as a must early on to find guys that come in as day 1 starters? What are your thoughts on Zion Johnson and Kenyon Green?
Come on, Zion.
We won't get into evaluating any of the players in here, but I will say this. Free agency's not over. There's different waves of it, and you still can, there's still going to be opportunities to improve different areas of our team other than the draft or college free agency. So, I think that still can happen and probably will happen. I wouldn't say we have any musts left in terms of, having to take a particular position at some point. Obviously, we want, you'd like to look up 9 picks later and hope that you really helped yourself across the board in terms of not only improving yourself for frontline players, but also depth and, things of that nature. So I don't think we have any musts going into the draft.
Is there a big difference between your first and second round grades on offensive linemen this year? In other words, you guys have done really, really well in the past picking offensive linemen in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Frederick, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin. Is there a big drop off between your first round grades offensive linemen and second round?
I would say we probably got more top of the second round players maybe than we've ever had. That just didn't quite make the cut of being first round players, and then we have some players that are bottom of the first, so the grades, the grade difference is very small.
That's fair.
Jerry, when you lose a guy like Randy, when you anticipated he might come back, how does a personnel loss like that affect your view of that position going into the draft?
Everything has an offsetting quid pro quo. Everything. As you know, I think a lot of Randy and how he has evolved and where he is in his career. But he evolved so well that he got beyond where I wanted to go. With the guarantees that were going to be involved to have Randy here, and I could have done it, were unacceptable to us. I'd rather have the two, Armstrong and our other one. I'd rather have those two than the one, and that's what we got. So this has very a big logic to it. I'll just allude to the very same thing. Had you rather have two players over in the second round or one over in the first? That's what it costs you to get up to the first, is to trade that second round pick to get up there. Most cases, when we go down that board, we'd rather have the two, just as far as looking at a rule that you might go by. And so to be specific back to Randy, but Randy, to his credit and their credit, Denver wanted him more than we did.
Don't say nothing else, Jim.
And that's not a hard adjustment because we got extra players for that. And we wouldn't have. We wouldn't have had the players that we got had we signed Randy, period. And I'd rather have the two than the one.
Boy, sugar, man.
Availability was a big item here. Being available. Always has been.
No. You're
Always
doing good, Jerry, to that point. Let me put
and
your pig
you
up.
Can reach to a point where if you've got a big question mark on availability, forget ability. If you've got a big question mark on availability, do you want to strap on millions and millions of dollars to your salary cap with that big a question mark at availability? It got too high for the benefit of the team. And I think nobody thinks anymore of Randy's ability or of how he has evolved. And still think he's one of the, frankly, individually like him about as well as anybody I've ever been around as far as a player of the Cowboys. Just didn't work that way. It wasn't good for us to do that.
Stephen, when the last 8 years, there's been a pretty big shift on how you guys pick Power 5 guys compared to the previous 8. It's like 75% of your picks versus 56% of your picks. Has there been a shift in how you guys break it down and leaning more Power 5 schools than you have in the past? And what does a smaller school guy have to do to
come on, James Houston, baby?
That consideration.
Well, I just think at the end of the day, it's all goes with the evaluation process. Hopefully we get better every year. I mean, he's made it real clear philosophically in our organization, you're either getting worse or you're getting better. There's no flat line here. And so we continue to look for ways to improve as to how we evaluate talent in terms of whether it's in college, whether it's in pro, whether it's our interactions, as Mike mentioned, which I think we do extremely well, of having our coaches interact with our personnel people in terms of what's the vision for the scheme we want to run and how those players fit and where they're going to fit, and so that you see when, hey, we draft a guy, the coach sees that guy the same way the scout does, and that's why think we've had so much success with players being able to to come in and play right away. So, at the end of the day, there is obviously, as we see with the Power Five, they're the Power Five for a reason. I mean, they've got some really good football players, but at the same time, there are good players that aren't in the Power Five if you find the right guys that can step in here and play right away. But I don't think it's been a conscientious effort to just say, hey, we're going to get away from smaller schools and get into Power Five only, and that's where we're going to pick from. It's more, I think, just our evaluation process evolving into where, that's where we've, historically or not historically, where we've ended up over the past, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever time frame that is.
Mike, what do you see when you've looked at this, the deepest positions in this draft, and just your overall thoughts on some of those positions and how it's stacking up?
Well, I think, traditionally, the wide receiver group has been very deep, and that looks to hold true again this year. So, and I think as you go up and down the board, and I just want to echo what Steven's already addressed, is, this is going to be a very deep draft, particularly in the middle rounds. So, and with that, as far as the ability to get both offense and defensive players, I think we sit very well for that opportunity.
The pandemic forced the organization and all the organizations to adopt certain principles, virtual and sort. Now that things have loosened up a bit in that regard, have you found that you've kept some of those pandemic-specific principles to make your draft process more efficient? And if so, can you kind of detail how you guys are handling pre-draft differently today than maybe 2019?
Yeah, I think that virtual is definitely a component of not only the draft process but our everyday operation. So, just you go as far as the off-season program this year. We've had 100% participation,
right?
But we do have individuals that have had things that are already scheduled ahead of time that, even though they were unable to be here, they were in the meetings virtually. So that was obviously something that was not in place in prior years. No different than the draft process. There's been times where we may need a little more information on a prospect, and bang, we were able to get the individual on a Zoom call that night. So, and I think so. The things that came out of the pandemic are definitely the virtual component is still in place. Obviously not to the level that it was 2 years ago, and I think it's an asset in our evaluation process.
Jerry, you spoke to the two players instead of one, regarding Randy Gregory and Armstrong and all of that.
Get him!
You guys had one of the most talented rosters in the NFL last season, but you've lost some this offseason to this point. How confident are you that after this draft process is done, after remaining free agency, that this Cowboys roster can be as talented or as good as it was a season ago?
Well, I thought that we were as talented going into the playoffs last year as any time in the top handful of teams that I've been involved in. So it's not surprising at all for us to have a catch up or have a bar of last year as where you would like to be. And so with that in mind, what ends up happening is that things that first-year players, second-year players evolve, and you can't expect those to get better. If we have those, along with what we have done with the continuity of coming off of the COVID year last year and coming into the basic I'm going to say fundamentals, solidness of our off-season, the fundamentals of this draft process, and the fundamentals of taking what we started last year defensively. I think we can very easily be where we were last year talent-wise, or able to play at that kind of talent level. I believe that's going to be the case.
I could see that.
Now,
yeah.
I'm not factoring in finding this year's Parsons. I'm not factoring that in, that last year that helped that situation along without being tried. So that in short, I feel very strongly that we can have a team that can give us every bit the promise to evolve and get us back where we were in the playoffs last year with the health level, the availability level as well as the talent level that we had last year. And I can go down through and look at specifics just within. Dak should be in better shape than he was this time, but when he went into the playoffs, by virtue of having this offseason, and I'm going to assume we're not going to get another calf injury in the 5th game or 6th game. I'm going to assume we're not going to get a shoulder injury in training camp. But I think we could have a healthier Dak as you go into. That alone could put us in better shape for the playoffs. So anyway, all of those are what ifs, I understand. But you got to think about them and you got to plan on them one way or the other, and that's what we're doing. So to answer your question, I'm not willing to concede at all that by the time we get to the playoffs this coming year that we won't be every bit the team that we had going in the playoffs last year.
Stephen, when you talk about the top of the second round being as heavy as you can remember, can you talk about when you're in kind of that nebulous area late in the first round, deciding if you're going to be back or so, the club having the 5th-year option on the first round pick, is that a factor?
I think it is. I think it is, especially because what you want to do is sign players to that second contract, and when you have a 5th-year option, that gives you, that helps you with your negotiation versus, you're going to be dealing with somebody who's going to be totally free. Example, Dak Prescott. It's a perfect one. But certainly that would come into play. I know I've heard.
Let me just pause it right quick and tell you guys, if a player make it to his 5th-year option, if he make it to his 5th-year option, he's no good. He's no good.
Important. That certainly plays into it. It's a great observation, and certainly something that the teams do look at, and we look at from a salary cap standpoint. All that gets, mixed in terms of, when you're putting the full body of work into a decision, then that's certainly part of it.
Stephen, what's that process like, the dress rehearsals for these last couple of days, these weeks leading up to it, inside the war room, the practices and all of that? Do you guys go through all these, you mentioned the scenarios and all of that. Is that an enjoyable experience? Is it tense? What's that like these last couple of days leading up to the final day?
The thing I get the most out of is more the straight strategy, more so than, the mock drafts, which I think are useful. But I think the bigger thing are to really play through it in our minds, what's realistically going to be there versus what may or may not be there. Those are all things that are interesting, and then project down to what you might be passing in the second or what you might be passing with our pick in the third. I think all those things are important, but I do think the mock drafts play a role, and we do that extensively as well. But I think the most important thing is just to get your hands around, what caliber of player you're going to be looking at, what you'd be looking at, say, in the bottom of the second and potentially giving up along with your first pick versus, having 2 players versus 1. I think it's well said.
Would you anticipate with what you've seen in the free agent market with wide receiver salaries that could push some wide receivers up the board, if you will, and how do those things factor into a draft table, those trends?
Well, I think any of this, as you look at free agency, it certainly points to all the more how important drafting well is. If you can avoid, you just can't pay, even if you have success, which we feel like we've had, our share of success, if not more so, in terms of drafting successfully. You still can't give them every one of them, that second contract. So consequently, you have to make some tougher decisions. I mean, that obviously came down the pipe with us with, a successful pick in Gallup versus, ultimately having to make a decision. Are you going to be able to have, Amari and Gallup? And so you have to make that call. And I think all those things play into it in terms of, drafting successfully versus, having to pay for it from a resource standpoint. The draft's so important there in terms of making your cap work overall.
How's Gallup's status? Any updates on
You
that?
must be out of your goddamn mind.
Week 1. In other words, does that affect how you draft or free agency, just preparing for a possible contingency that he wouldn't be available week 1?
Michael's doing very well in his rehab. I mean, he's here every day. He's been here throughout the prehab, the surgery, and now the rehab. So, but I think once we get to training camp, we'll have a tighter view on exactly when he'll be available.
Man, push it
Gary,
back.
you joked earlier about who makes which decisions in the draft room. How has your role changed in terms of player evaluation and draft decisions, if at all, here in recent years?
You know, I've got a good read in terms of the coach's involvement. We talked about that earlier. I have always thought that the men coaching the players should have an investment in the decision of being made of putting the players out there. I guess I get that from my college days, if anything. So I've always thought that was the politically way to do it. I have seen people get ideas about players in the draft process as coaches and absolutely have a bias with them as they get on into coaching them. And so I've seen that. And they have to work through that bias to get that done. Well, it's better to have a buy-in. There's a lot of me that would like to take a player and hand it over when we draft him and have Mike sign it, have Steven sign it, have Will sign it, and then go down through the coaching staff and have everybody on there sign it. This is the guy we picked. And so that when somebody comes in and for whatever the reason he's needs more reps or he needs this or he's got an issue about how he's coached on the field. Bill Parcells used to joke about, he said, I don't want the scouts out there watching practice and talking about how I ought to have such and such playing more than such and such. He did that tongue in cheek. The point is, there really is buy-in here. And there's buy-in with how players are selected, and there's buy-in with after they're selected, how they evolve and how they're coached. I believe in that. So to answer your question, I've always been into the buying into. I used to have a sign on my desk, if you're willing to give others the credit, you can conquer the world. And that was the sign that I had all the way up and through the Dallas Cowboys. I hadn't been in this world of having a need to, well, who's making that call or who's making that call or who's making that call. Around here, if it has a dollar sign associated with it in any way, I make the final call. I'm responsible for the money coming in and going out ultimately. And so I make that call. I have been since the day I walked through this door. And so I intend to make the call and get to where I can assess the information that's coming to me so that we can make the call. That has not changed. That hasn't changed. Now, what has happened is that Steven's been doing this now for 33 years. And he walked in here with a chemical engineering degree. He ought to be smart enough to pick it up somewhere along the way. And but seriously, he has been around here, and he's been around in everything we've done. If you can't have confidence in that, you need to go home because he's seen it come and go and seen all the wrong decisions and all the right decisions as it goes there. So it's a luxury on my part to have that kind of talent around here. I've got it. The Cowboys have it in several places around here of real seasoned, but relatively speaking, young people to get in here and help make all contribute to making this decision. So it is wrong to basically look at a decision and say that Jerry made the decision to draft Michael Parsons. I did not do it. I did it, actually physically did it, but I had tremendous input from what people that I have a lot of respect for that have spent a lot of time getting ready to help make that decision. Will puts the board together. He didn't make the call. He puts the board together. If you watched how we get up on that board and who gets in the third hole, who gets in the fourth slot or the fifth slot, you would see that there's 15 people made that decision about how he gets in the 15th slot. That's not a one-person decision about who goes up there. And then it's damn sure not just a one-person decision when you're up there on the draft board and you pick that player off of that spot on the board. There can be all kinds of players still up on that board. But that's not a one-person decision. So to answer your question, it's being made exactly the same way that was always being made. Now then, I really do and should, in my spot, make other people believe they're making the decision. I should do that. I should work very hard to make other people believe it's their decision. Because if they think it's their decision, they will work their ass off to try to make sure it's a good one. And they will take ownership in the decision and they'll make it go. So I spend a lot of my time around making people be not only helping make the decision, but believing they made the decision. That gets accountability. That hasn't changed. None of this has changed at all. There's probably less risk-taking in me today than it probably was when I look back 30-something years ago, from the taking of just outright taking risks. But when we got here, I frankly was the only one in the room that had ever taken a risk, certainly financially, when I first got involved. And so I knew how to take risks, knew how to judge the consequences if you mess up on a risk. And I was experiencing that. That's how I owned the Cowboys. That's how I got it. So I could do that. So I was the risk taker.
Live.
Today, after these years, we've got several people in this room that have taken some risks. This one's sitting right next to me, and he's eaten some of them. And he's been to the top in some others when he goes. So he knows the pain that goes with it. So same way, Mike, just exactly the same way. And I get amused when I see people write that, well, this is not the same Jerry, or this is this is that. This is that. They are just so off base, it's unbelievable.
Why are you taking less risk?
Why am I taking less risk? I said I believe that I could be taking less risk because, frankly, I feel that the decisions that Michael Parsons was not a risky decision relative to the situation. And so I seem to be more in keeping with the more logical way to make the decision. We still make some pretty risky decisions, though, and very capable of making them, too. We made that was when we take guys in the second round that we're redshirting. Those are risky decisions. Those are decisions putting that player's contribution off a little bit, usually, when it's a decision like Smith or a decision really like several that we made around here. So that type of thing, a decision on off-the-field issues, I'm probably a little more conservative than I was 15 years ago.
No, you wasn't.
About availability, probably a little more conservative. Maybe a little more conservative about players on the come a little bit. Got some developing to do. Maybe get some strength. Because I feel like we need to use them now more than we did 15 years ago or more than 10 years ago. It's a now thing, and it has everything to do because we need those players, for instance, to play immediately because most of the money is going to the top 10 or 11 that are already here. And so those guys with their rookie salaries need to help us more immediately than they have in the past.
Since you said you got more
Randy
conservative
Gregory wasn't drafted 15 years
what
ago.
Made you comfortable about Kelvin
David
Joseph
Smith
despite his
wasn't
red
drafted
flag
15 years ago.
Well, I think that you've gone into
man.
it. Let's be real clear. I haven't said I was comfortable or uncomfortable.
Come on, last year, you had red flag coming into the draft. There were people that had questions about
Kelvin Joseph wasn't drafted 15 years ago. Come on.
I felt that we had him about where we should have him relative to his skill level. We thought he was a number, one of the top ones, talent-wise. He got docked last year. And so I thought we had him gauged just right. We had the draft board right on him.
Finished up with Jory.
Y'all talked a lot during the season about how important it is to have the same 5 offensive linemen starting and how much multiple games together can improve that continuity. In light of that, how do you value position flex and versatility for an offensive lineman relative to other strengths?
I mean, position flex is important, obviously, especially now you got 17-game season. But yeah, the goal, I mean, the statistics speak for themselves. I mean, if you look at the success of an NFL football team that has consecutive starts by their linemen, they correlate. So that's gone on as far back as I can remember. But I mean, you can't control the injuries and the things that happen. So I think just like anything, depth is important, but how you train players, in this class will be important because you got young players coming in. We have some older players, so these are the things we talk about: is how many reps is this young man going to get when he gets here? How's he going to fit it? What position flex does it give? So, to answer your question, yes, it's very important. But the goal is to have the first 5, 1-5 play all the time because that's the most cohesive group. For your offense, and it dictates a lot of things that go on during the course of a game, let alone the season, especially into the playoff football. So, but position flex is something that's held, with a lot of value is looked upon as far as how they're graded, how they fit.
Thank you.
That's it. That's it. Oh my gosh, man. Here's my thoughts on everything. Hey, somebody asked what was the breaking news earlier. I think it was my guy D Shift. Here's the breaking news. The Dallas Cowboys owner finally admitted that Stephen Jones was the reason why we had Taco Charlton instead of TJ Watt. And through the press conference, that was the breaking news. But through the presser, Jerry knew that since he left. Look, if I want you guys to go to Cowboys.com or the Dallas Cowboys YouTube page. And when he said that, when he let that rabbit out of the hat or cat out of the bag, however the saying goes, when he said it, Stephen Jones literally. He did just like he crossed his arms, said, Daddy, how you gonna do that to me? He crossed his arms the whole time. Look, go back and watch. He crossed. Look, he started crossing his arms. He was like, man, Dad, how you gonna do this to me, man? How you gonna do me like that? And Jerry Jones said, see, Parsons was my idea. But to put the lipstick on the pig, that grew like this size by the end of the presser, this pig got that big, believe it or not. To put the lipstick on the pig, get out the way, pig, get out the way. To put the lipstick on the pig down the line, Jerry knew that he said, man, you know what? I made a big mistake. I need to go ahead and clean this up just a little bit. And that's when he went into the whole storyline of saying, you know what? It wasn't one individual. It was 15 of us. We all 15 agreed that Taco was the pick. But and then he contradicted himself and said, well, sometimes as the leader of this team, you have to make it seems as if though your contemporaries are making the decision. But in actuality, you are the one that's making the decision. I can't make this stuff up. So in the same breath, he said, yeah, all 15 of us, we work together to make the decision. But at the end, in a long roundabout way, because it was about 15 minutes of him talking about sometimes you have to give control, but you have to take it, but let it seems as if though they got control, but they really don't have control when you really have control of it. But you know what, Cowboy Nation? In actuality, he's right. My little one, when I'm watching TV, I'm going to use these 2 remotes. I got one remote control with the batteries in it that works, that control the TV. But since my little one really see daddy with the remote, she want the remote. She want to play with the remote. So what I do is I give her the remote, but it's a different one without the batteries. You see what I'm saying? See, I'm doing the Jerry. I never know. I do the same thing Jerry Jones does, but not on a billionaire level. I give her the remote without the batteries, and she get to turning, she get to flicking. And now, you know what? Over the course of a time, she became a little smarter. You see? Cowboy Nation. Settle down just a little bit. Settle down just a little bit, Cowboy Nation. Look, Jerry.
We're going to have a good visit, but settle down just a little bit.
You know, but as they get a little older, she began to realize when she pressed the button, the lights don't glow anymore. So what I had to do is put some batteries in another remote controller, just so when she pressed it, she can look down and see the lights go, you know? Because she'd be like, wait a minute, I'm pressing, but nothing is showing. But it's all about control. So I had to evolve just a little bit so that I can have a little peace. You know, that happened to me last night. I was sitting there watching the Dallas Mavs game, and Luka was just killing it, draining it. And right before he drained another three, the little one grabbed the remote, and she grabbed the wrong one, and she was just pressing, and she can see that light glow. And that gave me a better time to watch the game. See, y'all got to be smart. And good old Jerry Wayne and things, boy, he's teaching y'all some good stuff. Get two remotes. And make sure that down the line you add some batteries to it. Yeah, unbiased Cowboy. Yeah.
We're going to have a good visit.
Yeah, we're going to have a real good visit. Oh man, I got the Walmart remotes, man. But that was the breaking news of all. Fresh out of Dallas, Texas, Law Nation News. Not one, but two remotes. That's the case. All right, so Cowboy Nation, what else I learned from this presser is with the Kelvin Joseph. You can squeeze the Jones family. You can try to squeeze it on them. They're going to pivot and say, hey, they're going to allow the courts to do their thing. They're going to allow the Dallas department to do their investigation for the nation. And if anybody know, political season, maybe that can stir up some things out there. But Kelvin Joseph is not arrested. And Kelvin Joseph is looking at this thing saying, man, he's literally probably scared straight. So that's why he's the first one in practice, probably the last one to leave. He don't want nobody knocking at his door saying, hey, come downtown. We got to talk to you again about some more things. Where were you on this day? Where were you on that day? Can you corroborate the story? And he going to be like, nah, I was at this training camp. I was at this practice. I'll pump an iron. You can ask Dak Prescott. You can ask Ezekiel Elliott. You can ask Jerry Jones. You know, I was here. You can watch my scan card or my badge, you know. So that's just how it goes, man. Shout out to you, Stephen White. Appreciate you. Man, it was like family counseling. Yeah, Cole, appreciate you. Dangling the carrot in front of our faces. Yes, indeed, Cowboy Nation. That is exactly what's going on. So, Kelvin Joseph, push come to shove, this is what I believe the Cowboys would do, and this is my thoughts, and I'm not going to touch on it anymore until other news hit the fan or what have you. They still going to draft the DB. They still going to draft the DB out of this draft class, but I want you guys to understand, what round was Nashawn Wright drafted? Can somebody put in the comment box, what round was Nashawn Wright drafted? Yep, he in the lab, D-Hood. Yep. Shout out to you, Craig. Somebody put down, help a brother out. HBO. Help a brother out. HBO. So he was drafted in the third. Somebody said the third. Was it the third or the fourth? My memory is bad, man. So was he the third or the fourth? All right, so let's say he was the third round draft pick or the fourth round draft pick. That is considered, collectively speaking, a third round draft pick is still a high round draft pick, in my opinion. The fourth round draft pick is right there in that middle place. That's a high value draft pick. And I believe that Nashawn Wright, to his account, he fits this system exactly how Dan Quinn would like for him to fit. He's long, he got speed, he's a 4.4 guy. And he's getting a little bit more. He's going to be a little bit more physical this year. I spoke with his mom the other day. She said he picked on some weight, and he's going to be ready, more muscular build. So with that being said, 6'4", bring it this year. Yeah, third or fourth, no lies, right? So think about this. I said that to say this. What round was Richard Sherman drafted in? I'm waiting. What round? And I'm not saying that Nashawn Wright is, quote unquote, better than Richard Sherman. Let me see. Yeah, K. Jackson got hell of potential. 5th round. Shout out to my guy, Boss Cowboy, man. He's live in the fleck over there, man. Appreciate you, man. Boss want a linebacker? Shoo. Look, Boss don't want a linebacker. He's letting you guys know, and I'm letting you guys know, we need a linebacker. We need one. We need one. And on top of that, Cowboy Nation, here's why I say that. When we talk front seven and teams win from the core, a part of their front seven is your linebackers group. And Jabril Cox, I believe that, he will stand tall and he will step it up. But I see Jabril Cox more playing on the edge versus playing at that mic. And what I want is the flexibility of Parsons to play on the edge as well as in the middle of the field. So, it's a need, not a want. Yeah. What's up, man? Appreciate you, Gerald. Thank you for jumping in. Jabril Cox is better on the edge. If you look at my film assessment on Jabril Cox, I said that he plays better detached from the box. He's a type of guy that you can pretty much see that he got sea control. And in the pinch, I get it, right? At LSU, you will look at him not as a tackler, but if you go back and look at his tape when he was playing for, I believe it was the South Dakota, whatever, the Dakota team, I think it's North or South, I think it's South Dakota, whatever team he was playing for. He was the team captain. He was a guy that can hit. But I get it. Some people would look at it and say, nah, Jabril Cox, he's not that guy. But I feel you. Just give it time. Travis Jones with our 54th pick, with our new number 54. Or Travis Jones with our number 54 because we got the 56th pick. Yeah. Chad Muma for middle linebacker. Yeah, Chad Muma's pretty good. Tyndall is pretty good. Look, they got some linebackers in this draft that if you fool around and get your hands on. Look, I was doing a quick video, just me talking about Nakobe Dean. His sideline presence, read, react, then explode. It's crazy. Muma would complement the linebacker rotation. Yes, indeed. You like Chanel? Yeah, we all like Chanel. Let me see if I can do this right quick. Appreciate everybody for jumping in. Man, it's been a pleasure listening to you guys. I want to know your thoughts, though. I really want to know how you guys feel. I got time today, baby. I got time. And don't forget, tonight we will have the final word, and it's going to be nice, man. We're going to have a lot of good things out there for everyone. And speaking of that, here we go. I want to know how you guys feel. Don't hold back.
Call my phone,
Call my phone. Call my line for your mind, baby. Get my phone line together. Shout out to everybody.
Call my phone, hit my line.
Let me turn me up. I want to know what's on your heart, your soul, your sinew. Here's the phone line. Yep. 657-390-7391. Hey, boss, are you still there, man? Let me know, man. Jump on in. Boss Cowboy. Not Boss Man Fat, but that's Boss Cowboy. Come on. 657-390-7391 is the hotline for your mind. Oh, in my previous video, we talked about all pros, and I think some people get all pros mixed up with pro bowlers. Cowboys have the most all pros since 2010 with 9 of them. Now, that speaks volumes of our draft evaluations, right? Meaning that we got some guys that's burning some midnight oil, and we got some guys that know how to find and identify players. But on the flip side, that also tells us that we also have talent, meaning that on the talent aspect of it, we falling short from the coaches. If you're going to build through the draft, if you're going to build with the draft, Cowboy Nation, you got to understand you got to have coaches that's able to elevate said player that you drafted and put things together so that that team can rise up to the occasion. That's my thoughts on it. That's my mindset on it, especially if you're going to build through the draft. You got to have a coaching staff that's able to handle those players. 860, what do you know, fam? You live. Yeah, what's good? What's good? You live now.
Yeah, I'm just weighing in. You know, it's a VIP, baby.
Yeah, what's up, VIP?
Yeah, I'm watching Jerry and I'm listening to Steve, man. All I can think is a lot of capping going on.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of capping going on, man. Look, I just need him to man up. If he picked Taco, just man up and say, look, man, I made a mistake. I like tacos, but I needed a burrito. We know what you wanted, Jerry.
He said his son picked Taco. You know.
Yeah,
but what's the cap? The cap to me, fam, VIP, was saying
Yes,
that less part of Randy Gregory. It's like they got rid of Randy Gregory because his ability to play on the field. That wasn't the case, nor the scenario. That means that you should never offer him the counter offer. You should have said, hey,
there you go.
You should look, don't put lipstick on the pig because they offer the counter offer, right?
But you know, they got to do the cleanup.
Yeah.
That's that PR move.
Yeah.
He lost his PR guy.
Right.
So he don't know. Jerry don't know how to clean up yet. So Jerry just started eating his words. He started backtracking. I didn't know what. I thought Jerry about to fall on his face. I was screaming, "Somebody save him! Somebody save him!"
Yeah. I mean, God dog. Hey, his PR guy was too busy doing this. He was looking hard inside the. He was looking hard inside the cheerleader room. I was like, come on, PR guy. Oh, my gosh, man.
Oh, man. But all I do know is we draft well, but we're suspect in the second round. If we can get over our suspect second round pick, I think we'll be good.
Well, according to Jerry and everybody, is that they like to take their risk in the second round. But the thing is, in his interview, of course, he was capping when he said, hey, that was 15 years ago.
Right.
And we know, you and I do know, it wasn't 15 years ago.
All time is kicking in, Law.
What'd you say?
That all time is kicking in with Jerry, man.
Yeah, it's kicking in, but it goes in and out because sometimes he was speaking earlier. Shoot, he was sharp.
MJ.
He was sharp for the first 5 to 10 minutes of the interview. He was sharp.
Yeah,
That's
the medicine was still in the system. That medicine wore off after a little bit.
Yes, indeed, man. All right, VIP,
Look, Ross,
man.
keep doing
Appreciate
your
you,
thing,
man.
I'm looking forward to Thursday. Look, Thursday will change a lot of lives, and all I'm saying is what they need to do is man up and say, hey, I made a mistake. I need to let this young boy go, let him get his life together. I like facts.
Yeah.
I don't like the distraction. You know what I mean? So I wish the brother well. I'm praying for him. And let's go, boys.
Yeah, let's go with it. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. That's the VIP. Yeah, that's my guy right there, man. Shout out to him. Hey, Cowboy Nation, it is what it is at this point, but I want you guys to understand this part right here. Let me see if I got this right. Hold on. Here we go.
All participants are muted.
I forgot I had the line all the way open. All right, so MJ, you be next, man. But here's the thing, Cowboy Nation. I really believe that if the Jones family hold on to Boss Man Fat, it will be surely because of the fact that they couldn't find another DB out of this draft. But don't sleep on Tariq Woolen. I think that's how you say his last name, Woolen. That boy pretty good too. All right, I got my guy MJ, man. You live.
What's up, Law?
Nothing to it, man. Talk to me.
Well, they're gonna keep Joseph until if he get a warrant and he get in trouble, then they're gonna get rid of him. But right now, he's not going nowhere. So
he on the up and up. Yep.
And,
as they say around here.
So
yeah.
That corner from USC, they like too. He run a 4.4. He's like a 4th-round pick. He's talented too, and they always gonna draft a corner because you got to replace the next one. Because he already told y'all. I told y'all. A lot of y'all on here listening. I'm telling y'all. The DN they got, Fowler, he's gonna get 10 to 12 sacks. Y'all gonna go crazy, and they're not gonna sign him. That's what they do. All the people come to the Cowboys to get the big contract. You guys ought to know that. So stop crying. We're not gonna keep him. And it's gonna be guards. There's 2 guards. The guard from North Carolina, he a beast, and the guard from Oklahoma, he a beast. So if they don't pick a guard in the first round, them the two guards they looking for, and the guard from Kentucky. So they got 3 big guards they looking at that y'all crying about in the first round. Them guys are all about the same, man. I watched all the tape, all the guards. Ain't that much difference. I'm just being honest with you.
Okay, I feel you, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
So
I think you're talking about Marquise Hayes. 6'5", 330-pound Marquise Hayes. You talking about him? Powerful hands. Yeah, the Oklahoma. Yeah, I like him too. I think the guard spot. Yeah.
And the guard from Kentucky, he weighs 345, and the guard from North Carolina, he plays tackle and guard. So if we get either one of them, we win him. But your boy made a good point.
Who that?
Say Connor McGovern. If y'all look at the tape, guys, did not play that bad. In that Kansas City game, all the guards got whooped. Everybody. And
we wasn't ready for that one. Even Zach Martin, they said, "Hey, we're gonna hand you one too. Just hold him, grab him, and hold him. You next, Zach Martin." That KC game, boy, they came for us, baby. Yeah.
I say the president get his butt whooped. I was like, wow. But sometimes you get like that. But McGovern, if the Cowboys stop favoritism and let McGovern play center, he's going to take Beyond's spot because he's an all-pro center. He's big, strong. That's what he's supposed to play. And his dad said that, too. His dad, he played center 2 years at Penn State, and then they put him at guard. He's a starting center. So if you put him at center and let him play Beyond, but another guy, I'm going to tell y'all something. Y'all don't know something.
Right, what's that?
I've been watching.
Let me know, MJ.
Fernac.
Matt Farnock.
Even the Spanish, and the Spanish guy, number 60.
Alex
Them
Alarcon.
guys stronger, and you could saw when they played in that game against Philly couldn't get no pressure at the middle. They played better than our starters. And they got a second year. That's why the Joneses is feeling among themselves. Got to give these guys credit. Our recruiter, they be picking the right guys, man. That's why I don't be panicking when we lose people. Because, hey, no, me and you could go play receiver, and we end up with 700 yards, and we run a 4.9.
I appreciate you, MJ, man. I thank you so much for calling in, always keeping the line hot, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, family. Thank you, family.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, man. They going to have to motion me, dog. They going to have to motion me. I don't know if I can get off the line, man, at my age. I don't know if I got to get a free release. And I don't know if I can give you guys 700 yards. I ain't finna lie to kick it to you. But I can give you at least 200, for the full season. I can give you probably what Noah Brown gave you guys last year as far as yardage, not far as production, but put me on the defensive side and play me way in the back where KZ was at, and I just keep everything in front of you, But as far as their wide receiver, they would say, Law line up on the line, baby. They'll clap me down, boy. I'm like, look, Dak, motion me inside, But then you got to motion me back out because I don't want no dealings with those linebackers. No. Like, man, who is this loud dude, man? He can't get off the line, man. His beard look good coming down from the helmet. You know, they'll put me in, Cowboy Nation. Look, y'all will literally put me in. Yeah, look, y'all put me in. They be like, man, look, man, that law dude, man, he look good coming off that release, but, man, he get jammed a lot, you know? You know, I won't be able to do all of that, man. You know.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
They have to let me play with the visor on so they can't see my eyes, man. You know, that just would be the situation there. What's up with you, 941? You live?
What's up? This your boy, Boss, man.
What's good? What's going on with you, man? I didn't recognize that number, man. What's good with you, man?
Lock the number in, brother.
All right, I ain't gonna say where it's from because I got the initials down there. But what's good, man? Talk to me, man.
Oh man, I was just I saw you said call in, so I want to rap with you, big dog, before the night.
Yeah, you know how we do. So what's your thoughts on what good old Jerry was talking about, man?
Well, it was a press conference that was a waste. I wish they wouldn't even talk, to be honest. Right. Because I was starting to feel good until I heard them talk. You know, my days was going better. My dog wasn't yapping. Mm-hmm. My girlfriend was acting nice. Everything was going good until I went on your live and heard that press conference, and it hurt my heart. You know, it just showed you it's the typical dysfunction of a front office. And you raised an excellent point where you talked about, you know, we got the most homegrown Pro Bowlers and all pros since 2010.
Right.
We can get the talent. So what else is messing us up? It's obviously the front office, you know, even over coaching. I say it's the front office because we get the talent. I'm not worried about us right now going into this draft because we going to do good. It's going to be where they mess it up.
Right. Like this is what I see. Like land with fertile land. And they don't know which thing that they need to focus and concentrate on when it's growing said produce. So the Cowboys got the fertile land. They got all of the things that's put into place, but they never really had, like for 2010 all the way until now, you have all of those all pros, not Pro Bowlers, all pros, bro. That's not a political vote right there. All pros when you actually did your thing. And for us not to have a ring, man, that sinks real deep down in our hearts right there on the bad side.
And an appearance. And it's so many documentation that's coming out that's really pointing to them. And sadly, they don't see it. Like they did another study that came out in the last 15 years that said that we are top 4 organization on drafting. Top 4. Damn. You top 4 and you not only didn't win the Super Bowl, you got about 3 playoff wins in the last 26 years. So it just pointing again to multiple dysfunction and them meddling with stuff because under most teams being top 4 in drafting talent, you're going to at least get a Super Bowl appearance, and at the absolute worst, you go get some deep playoff runs and some consistency. So, but I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. We do have a big week. You know, we have a really big week where we can get on the right page on getting the right talent, and talent trumps everything. So
Right. I don't want to squeeze out all what we gonna talk tonight, man. But we can't. But we can't say this though. Where we gonna be at on Thursday? You know.
Yeah, so we gonna be on at the walk-on. So y'all make sure y'all come out at Las Colinas. It's gonna be fun, bro. Trust me. And then obviously, most importantly, the content is gonna be solid. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we put in a lot of work. Everybody putting in overtime, doing our last minute research, combing through our list, making sure we got everything right. You know what I mean? So y'all come check us out, man. It's gonna be fun. Me, Law, Big Game, OC, and some special guests as we go have the best show going out. Let's get it, Law.
Hey! Before you roll, can you drive the nation to look up one player that people are not even talking about, they're not even on the radar right now? Can you just have people to look at it and just look up one player? Can you just say it by name?
Can I give you 4?
Ooh, this make it even better. Let me get my pad out, man. Hold on. Let me get my pad out because I might not even know the guy. All right, 4 players.
We talked about it.
Okay.
But we're going to do some film breakdown today on this guy. And I'm going to say it today. I'm going to say it loud and bold because it's true. The film has spoken. It's going to speak today on the final word. Marquise Hayes is the best finisher of all the guards in this draft. Yes, I said it.
Dang.
The best finisher. And it's not even close. You can turn on any game and you go watch him pancake from 2 to 5 guys per game. And most people not talking about the fact that he started at left guard for 37 consecutive games. So, yeah, it's one of those draft mysteries that don't make sense. And then people already know I'm going to say Malcolm Rodriguez.
Malcolm?
Linebacker out of Oklahoma State. He is everybody know where I'm going.
I'm saying big Sarge already putting it down. Hey, Marquise Hayes, what's his measurables right quick? I know it's 6'5", but what is it?
Let me pull it up. Give me 1 second, big dog, because I'm actually working on this presentation right now for tonight.
Ooh, that's some good stuff, man. Y'all dial in. Y'all tap in, man.
Because I already told them we're going to be drafting and we're going to be doing this film. You know what I'm saying? So people already know what's coming. So let me pull up his measurables real quick. Give me 1 second, big dog. I got it right here. Okay. Yeah, so he's a big guy, bro. He's 6'5". He weighs 324 pounds. I got a target on him between round 2 and round 4 is when you want to try to acquire him. He's not fast, but he's extremely mean, and he's definitely looking to punish and finish. So the guy that has the crazy measurables that nobody talking about, and he got the tape to back it up, because me and you know the underwear Olympics is real.
Right.
We never fall for that. Not you nor me.
Right.
But a guy that has both is Malcolm Rodriguez.
I'm gonna look
He's 5'11", 225 pounds in terms of his weight. He ran a 4.5 240. His vertical is 39.5. He can jump out the gym. And guess how many times he did 225, Law?
At 5'11"?
Yeah, just guess.
19.
37.
Yeah, that boy, I need to look him up. That boy like a little dump truck, man.
Yeah, I got some film on him today. I'm sorry, 36.
36.
Man,
I'm looking him up now. I'm gonna look him up now, man. Rodriguez.
His tape pops, bro. Like, and it's one of those that it's a couple of people just don't make sense on why they graded so low. And definitely, I would definitely put him in there for sure.
On weak side, or what he gonna play? What he gonna play?
And he can play any one of those linebacker positions.
So
he's also an academic All-American, which would be a green dot candidate because he has the IQ for the position. He was voted by all the Big 12 coaches as one of the best players in the conference, and he was voted by his team as the team captain. He got all the boxes that should be a riser, and he's not rising. It's the stupidest thing in the world, and it's why I would never trust scouts. So another guy that I might show tonight if we got time is Zagobi McClain. That's another dude at linebacker that I guarantee people are sleeping on.
McClain.
Yeah, McClain.
What's the first name?
If it's anybody, Zacoby McClain. If it's anybody, and my boy C. Burleson said Malcolm tape is immaculate. I'm telling you this. I don't understand why this dude is not rising. So I would definitely call him a mid-round steal, because I think some of these linebackers go outperform some of those first-rounded graded linebackers. And I'm saying it publicly right now because I'm thinking the scouting community is not getting it right on some of these guys. And Zacoby, he's a guy that plays way bigger than his size. We can show it tonight.
Okay.
You're going to see him over and over run through I mean, run through centers, guards, run through them. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about when they got clear lanes to the second level, they got nothing for them, bro. Jacoby is one of the best sleeper dogs out there, and that's another one that nobody's talking about. I'm gonna give you 4, big dog. That I would put as my top move down candidate. I know it's gonna shock a lot of people when I say this, but I'm gonna just keep it real. Okay, Brees Hall,
the running back.
Boys sleeping on running back Brees Hall. I think he is the next Taylor. He's 6'1", 220 pounds. He ran a 4.3 940. His vertical is also 40 inches, so he's explosive. His target is between round 2 and round 4, but he has top 15 measurables. He broke a NCAA record for TDs, and nobody talking about him, big dog.
I love running backs that can get inside the end zone there. That's why I love Emmitt Smith, and that's why I love LaDainian Tomlinson. Those guys were able to find the end zone. Regardless of what people talk about those guys as it relates to running, they could find that end zone.
Right. And he had 1,400 yards, bro. So you talking about a dude who checked, again, all the boxes, but they being ignored, just like Taylor. Taylor had more production than Saquon Barkley. He had the exact same measurables as Saquon Barkley, but they gave him a round 2 and round 3 grade. And that's when I knew the scouting community makes stuff up. I was certain when I saw that, because why would you have, my brother, a top 5 grade on Saquon and a guy with the same measurables, more production in the same conference, you give a 2nd round and 3rd round grade too? That told me that the value of running back is more based on popular opinion than proper evaluation. Anyway, so those are 4. We'll have more tonight.
Hey! Before you run, I'm like that old Southern Baptist. I'm keeping the guest pastor here for an extra second. Look, before you run, I'm big on comps, man, and I know you. I don't know if you big on comps, but to help me visual all of these guys when I do some quick study, who are your comps to these guys before I let you go?
For Brees Hall, I would say Terrell Davis.
Oh my God. Okay, you see that now that put me in a different mindset now. Okay, Terrell Davis. All right.
He's Terrell Davis part 2. For Malcolm,
Rodriguez, boy, that name, Malcolm Rodriguez.
I would say he plays like my boy from BYU that went to Washington football team. I can't remember his name.
Kelly Holcomb.
No, Holcomb would be Malcolm. Holcomb is Malcolm Rodriguez, but Malcolm Rodriguez is faster and more explosive. So you can put somebody to, I can't. Okay. Oh no, my BYU linebacker that went to San Fran. I'm sorry, bro. I just can't remember his name. I just talked to his teammate too. I'm sorry, bro. I have it for you tonight.
Okay, that's good. That's cool.
Then, who I would compare, my guard to,
Marquise Hayes. Strong heads can anchor down inside.
Yeah, Marquise Hayes, bro. I'm trying to think of somebody who's super nasty.
Just nasty.
Because Marquise Hayes is the best finisher that I haven't seen a guy finish like him. And I'm saying, thank you, Warner. Thank you, Thomas. I haven't seen a guy finish like Marquise Hayes since Nelson. Nelson, dog. Now he's not Nelson, because Nelson was more of a complete guard. Yeah, Fred Warner. Thank y'all.
Warner. Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fred Warner is who I would. Yeah, but Marquise Hayes, he finishes like Nelson, or
somebody.
Who's the left guard, man?
Somebody put Larry Allen up in there. I'm sitting like, wait a minute.
Not Larry Allen, because Larry Allen was more complete. I'm thinking about a guy that was just a finisher. What was our left guard before Lyle came here? I can't remember his name.
A big God dog it.
One of them days, bro.
Ron Leary, man. Ron Leary.
Yeah, Leary.
Yeah.
He's Leary, but Imagine this, nastier. And I'm going to show it tonight.
Yeah. I can't wait to see it tonight, man, when the OC and you guys break it down, man. And Jacoby McClain, who he's Fred Warner, right? Who's Jacoby?
He's a nastier Fred Warner.
Okay.
He reminds me of the linebacker out of Miami, Zach Thomas. Yeah, bro.
The young version. Yeah.
Yeah, he plays way bigger than his size, bro. He plays way big. I'm going to show it tonight because I showed a little bit of the tape yesterday on Boss Cowboy Sports. Mm-hmm. And ain't nobody that watched it could deny it. You can't deny a guy running through centers, running through guards, stopping everybody on 3rd and 1s, making major plays. Everything that he runs into, he demolishes. And it's just some of those guys, and you play defense, Law, we all got people in our memory that we know played way bigger than their size.
Yeah.
And he's that guy. So I show all these guys, I give clips of these guys today when we get into the final word, if we do that during the draft. Mm-hmm. But I'm just from those 4, and I got about 15 that I think are like solid mid-round guys that got first-round potential. But we go talk about maybe 4 or 5 or 6 today on the final word.
No doubt, man. Hey, let everybody know where to go to find and follow you, man.
Yeah, Boss Cowboy Sports. And if anybody interested in some of that film breakdown, I did a show yesterday, and I did that breakdown in the first 15 minutes. You ain't got to watch the whole 2-hour show. I get right into that breakdown right after I say my hellos. And y'all can see once you turn on the tape, it's undeniable, you know. So yeah, I'm excited about those guys: Marcus Rodriguez, Marcus Hayes, Brees Hall, and then my linebacker out of Auburn. I've been up late, bro, so I'm sorry.
Man. I feel you, man.
My brain kind of tripping a little bit. Jacoby Dean. Yeah,
I'm gonna look him up.
Hey, check all those guys out, bro. It's worth it, and it's going to be a fire show tonight. Y'all already know we go break in the house, so y'all get ready for the final word, man. Thanks a lot.
In time, man. That's my guy, man. Boss. Cowboys Sports. Y'all be sure to check him out, man. Your voice matters. Not look. You can go to some platforms where your voice is kind of like, it's the shot in the wind. But no, over there, your voice matter. I'm just the voice for the voiceless over here. And speaking of the voice for the voiceless, man, I got the last caller, but not least, man. He just been waiting in the folds, holding it down with us, man. And let me get him activated. Give me 1 second while I do this. Bring him in, Mr. Passion. What's good?
What up, dog?
Nothing to it, man. Talk to me, fam.
You know, this is your boy, Mr. Passion, up in the block. You feel me?
What's good?
Hey, you forgot to put the finish him drop for Mr. Boss Cowboy. Let me get some love.
I got him. And I got him right here. Here you go, right here. This is what he did with that,
we
man.
Were talking about that Marquis Hayes last night. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. I'm excited about that drive. I'm going down here in Las Vegas, bro. I got some tickets. I might be announcing the pick maybe Law, and I might be getting some autographs, bro.
Okay,
so,
okay. If they pull you out there, man, I want you to say, how about the Cowboys? And you give a shout out to Law Nation too, man. You know, you give a shout out. You give a shout out to the channel. You know.
Hey, let me put it like this, Law. I'll be wearing that Michael Parsons jersey you gave me in that Cowboys hat with the blue star with the draft cap, bro. I'm gonna be looking fly with my blue hair. I got a fresh cut, like I told Boss Cowboy yesterday. And last night too, when I was talking to him on the show in the chat and stuff. You know, so I'm all ready for this, boy. I'm ready. I'm straight ready, bro.
So you got the blue hat. You got the blue hair with the Michael Parsons jersey, and you're gonna have the hat. Oh my God, I can't wait, man. I already know you're gonna bring it.
I'm gonna be posting some videos on Twitter and stuff for you, bro.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to tell you, since he was talking about the Marquise Hayes, he was speaking facts on that Marquise Hayes.
Okay.
And he was talking facts about that Rodriguez linebacker too.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he mentioned a running back too, I think.
Brees Hall. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I watched film on most of those guys. I haven't watched as much as him and you on certain stuff, but like, dude, you know who he reminds me of? Really, Marquise Hayes. You know how mean back in the day Eric Williams was.
Oh yeah, Big E, yeah.
How he used to just maul people and just blast them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like blast them, like put hands on them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that power. So that's who he reminds me of. His mean streak, like just get out my way, get out my way, get out my way. You know, it's like me with my passion. Get out my way.
Yeah.
Cowboy fan, boy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm just excited. I wanted to give you some love, Law, before you got up out of here. And I missed you the last 2 or 3 days. I just want to tell you, I hope the wife and the family's doing well. My prayers have been with you.
Appreciate
I love
you, man.
And I've been sharing your stuff and bosses and all you guys. So know that even though you can't be with me at the draft here in Las Vegas, just know that I'm thinking about you. And you're always in my heart. And I'm going to be showing my videos on Twitter. So be looking for me, bro. Be looking for me.
I'll be looking for you, man. And they say
the wife's gonna be with me too, dog. So just get ready.
I'll get ready for it, man. And they say, man, ain't no party like a Cowboy party. You know.
And with the first pick of the 2023 draft, Cowboys select Traylon Burks.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm feeling it, baby.
Let's go, man. Appreciate you, man. Hey, let me hear it one more time. Let me hear it one more time before you leave, man.
Let's go, Cowboys!
That's my guy, Mr. Passion, man. I don't know if anybody can match that passion level. I think Jessica passion level when the season kick off. I think Jessica passion level. She just on break right now. But right around preseason time for your mind, look out for Lady Jessica because she's gonna be passionate when she call in as well. But shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to you, Andrew. It's 2022, just a slip of the tongue, 2022, 2023, but those boys going to be ready because you see what Passion is saying is that how the year starts off in 2022, but it'll be 2023 when we lift that Lombardi trophy up, huh? Cowboy Nation, y'all know how this thing goes. Yeah, no, that's what exactly is going to happen, and I can't wait. Jerry will be holding the trophy up with his pick, and it could be Traylon Burks and CeeDee Lamb right next to him, holding that Lombardi trophy up together. And it can flat out happen. It can. And I tell people all the time, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting or lied about, don't deal in lies or hate it and yet give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can think and not make thoughts your aim, or if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your whole life for broken and stooped and peeled back up again with worn out tools. That's a horrible situation, right? If you can risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, to lose, to start again at your beginnings. And this is the most important thing. And never breathe one word of your loss. You see this, Cowboy Nation? We've been losing for 26 to 27 years. And we still here. We don't die, we multiply, baby. But if you can walk with kings and presidents, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes or loving friends can harm you, and if you can fill the unforgiving minutes with 60 seconds worth of distance run, Cowboy Nation, you have unlocked the true meaning of what it takes to be a champion. But most important, Cowboys, you have understood what it takes to be a man. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. DC for life all day, baby. Like I said, we don't die, we multiply. For 2022, 2023, 2024, we're gonna be controlling and running, busting through that door. DC for life, let's go. Yeah, let's grind. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Thank you for tuning in to the nation. Type a real one in if you are a real one.
Nowadays,
come on.
really let
me see real ones in the chat. Let me give you some fire emojis. Shout out to Jerry Wayne. Shout out to you, Ortiz. I see ya. Shout out to you, Stephen White. Seaboys 92. Gina. Let's go.
New deal to my lawyer. If you're down in my management, I'm just warming
come on.
up, wait till I old producer saw the numbers.
Big
different colors in my baggy lights.
31. Marcus Big. Shout out to Boss Cowboy too. Shout out to the man that's saying Cowboys are trash, but he's watching. And you know. Come on.
Nowadays, nothing really excites me.
Trash so good, you gotta go watch it. That's what I'm talking about. Name another team that people are so angry and upset, and they still willing to watch us. Come on, look, now that's the reality of it. We are so trash that people are still looking at us. That's a beautiful sight.
I got paid off pain today. Thought it'd take the pain away. In my own lane, finger roll.
Finger roll.
Never saw my only soul.
Never.
Heard your whole team was for sale.
Not ours, baby. Come on.
Who the realest, we might never know.
Come on, y'all know who the realest.
You go play a
Come
role.
on.
Give you the world when they sign you up. Try you out and then they line you up. Ooh. Now you're looking hungry, ribs are touching, need some food. Now you're all on live acting surprised, but you was fooled. Boy, get out the way, it's been a day, now you're old moves. Now you got the pen and pad, you're trying to take my moves. Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody take me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's I got wifey on bling and she freeze. Photo, please, no photos. G's, no, please, no photos. Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody take me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's I got wifey on bling and she freeze. Photo, please, no photos. G's, no, please, no photos.
Somebody said, look, Law, can we run it up?
I just
want to run it up. Let me get some fire emojis down in the chat so we can run this thing all the way up. Come on. If you want to run it up, let me see the fire emojis in the chat. Run it. Come on. Don't need no deals. Come on. Oh, yeah. Come on. It's DJ Law time for your mind, baby.
Count that too, count it up, count it up. Lately I just wanna run it up. Need them ones, I need them fives, need them tens, I need that change to the safe, got blues inside.
All right. Oh.
Greens and pinks, it's all the same. I still save and roll my change. Take some losses when I play.
Charge it to the game.
I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T Black, I'm with Reverend now. I'm with Bay, yeah, I'm with J, yeah, I'm with Chuck.
Who went Law, baby?
Still the same.
Let me see LAW in the chat. If you went Law.
You switch size off for the bag, and that's worth more to me.
Come on.
I mix Nike with designer, I experiment.
Come on.
You just rock what's on the shelf, and I'm not feeling
not
it.
Feeling
Search
it.
for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer.
Call it too legit. Hey.
I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Hey.
Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Come on.
Kinda check a song. Lately,
I just wanna run it up. VIPs all in the club. We sprinkling some of mama's cooking. All up in here, baby. Y'all couldn't have me off. Look, I promise y'all, if I was off all day like this, y'all get tired of me. I'm like, this dude don't never get offline. I'm off all this week. Come on. Run it, baby.
Don't need no deals, I make the deal. I have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Watch how he say.
Yeah.
Jerry.
Kinda check a song. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Come on.
Count that too. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Sing it.
Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Oh my gosh.
Lately, I just wanna run it up.
He just wanna run it up, baby. Appreciate everybody, man. Let me get on up out of here, man. I supposed to left a long time ago. But it is what it is, Cowboy Nation. Look, be sure on your way out to continue to hit the like button, share this content. Let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Let me see if I can get this one little thing for this particular message for the guy who said, y'all trash.
Now, so the cocaine's happening. When does that crack come into play for you?
Oh my God. Come on. Hey. Ho. We up out here. One love, baby. It is what it is. Peace.